always be on your side. Good evening, Pine Belt. This is WDAM 7 News at 10.
Good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Concerned community members showed out tonight at the Marion County School Board meeting, all in an effort to raise their voices about issues they feel are present within the school district. Caroline Wood was there and has more for you.
Members of the community led a peaceful protest Monday night at the Marion County School Board meeting, calling for action from the board regarding multiple issues.
We feel like that our school board is not listening to the public, and we have appealed them to, to act on some issues that we felt like was an issue with our schools and with our children, and with what's going on about being discriminatory.
Some community members allege the board is discriminating against certain races when selecting new educators for the district.
Hiring. We feel like we have qualified people for jobs in our school system, and I feel like we're being elected, we're being pushed to the side.
But school board officials say there are guidelines followed throughout the hiring process.
Our policies are in place and they're being used, and I don't have, we're trying to find the best teacher out there for our kids in Marion County, and I think our school district is doing that.
Reporting in Marion County, Caroline Wood, WDAM on your side.
Now, some of those community members say they will continue to come back each month to make their voices heard. The school board meets the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. Now let's check in with our weather team. Nick, how are things looking out there?
Hey, not bad. Speaking of school, I thought we'd go over to USM of Fort Town on Mississippi Power Camera, where it is chilly out there. There, 37. There we go. 37 degrees out at USM on the Mississippi Power Camera. It feels like 31 when you factor in the wind out of the north-northwest at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. It just looks cold, doesn't it? I mean, my goodness, all the precip is pushed off to the east, and we are looking a bit drier tonight than we were last night, and cooler, 29 for the overnight hours tonight by the time we get into tomorrow morning. So says the computer. I tend to think we'll bottom out somewhere about the freezing mark, and we'll get back into the upper 40s and low 50s tomorrow afternoon. And as we head through the next couple of days, we do have another shot for precip on Wednesday morning, and the temperatures are going to be close to freezing for a lot of us as that happens. We'll talk about what that means here coming up in the next couple minutes, and about our nice weekend that's coming this direction. Carrie, back over to you.
All right, thank you, Nick. Well, today, January 11th, is National Human Trafficking Awareness Day, and the Mississippi State Department of Health defines the crime as the act of recruiting, harboring, transporting, providing, or obtaining a person for labor services or commercial sex acts through force, fraud, or coercion. The organization says human trafficking affects 12 to 27 million women, children, and men worldwide. And according to the Department of Homeland Security, you should not attempt to confront a suspected trafficker directly or alert a victim of any suspicions. Instead, you should contact law enforcement. Now, the Mississippi State Department of Health and DHS and officials from the Domestic Abuse Family Shelter in Laurel say there are many signs to look out for to help identify victims of this crime.
Different stages of bruises healing to where you can see on their body with the finger marks, cuts and scrapes and black eyes and things like that. Malnourishment is a big one, that if you see somebody that you can tell they haven't had anything to drink or hadn't slept in 3 days or stuff like that.
The Domestic Abuse Family Shelter also helps victims of sex trafficking, and to get in contact with the shelter, you can call its 24-hour crisis hotline at 1-800-649-1092. Also, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation and the Mississippi Highway Safety Patrol issued an endangered child alert for a young girl who's been missing since January 5th. The 13-year-old is from Brookhaven out of Lincoln County, and anyone with information should contact the Brookhaven Police Department, and that number is there on your screen. Jones College students will return to campus February 1st to help minimize the spread of the virus. Traditional classes are starting a little later than usual and will look a little bit different this semester. Students attending classes Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays will be divided into 3 groups, and those attending on Tuesdays and Thursdays will be divided into 4 groups. Not changing this year, face masks and health checks for anyone who enters the campus. The Laurel Police Department has received 2 grants helping to crack down on drunk driving and enforce seatbelt safety laws. Totaling more than $120,000, the money will be used to purchase equipment and pay overtime for police officers.
It does several things. It allows the officers to make extra money in coming in and filling a purpose. And they do, as you see by the numbers, they've been out here working, writing these tickets and stopping these cars and hoping that gets in everybody's mind, hey, they're out here doing this, slow down, don't drink and drive, let's put our seatbelt on. And hopefully this will cut down on our traffic accidents, traffic fatalities, and things such as that.
Now, according to the Mississippi Department of Transportation, statewide, 1 out of 2 people killed in vehicle crashes were not buckled up. Now to coronavirus. We have hit a grim milestone, or a grim record, in the pandemic. The United States is currently averaging more than 3,000 COVID-19 deaths per day, and that's more people dying every day than the total number of people killed. Daryl Forges has the latest.
This is what we were afraid of, people letting their guard down over Christmas and New Year's.
Officials warned about the post-holiday coronavirus surge. Now they say it's here.
For the next upcoming days, we're probably going to see the impact of this.
COVID-19 cases are now trending upwards in 32 states. California adding an eye-popping nearly 40,000 new cases on Monday. And Arizona shattered its almost month-long record-setting streak of COVID-19 hospitalizations, reporting nearly 5,000 COVID-19 patients in its hospitals.
It's a vicious virus and has left nothing but grief in its path. With the vaccine, however, we aim to cut off that path.
People are now lining up across America in hopes of getting vaccinated.
I don't know if they'll give it to me or not if I ask, but I'm going to ask anyway.
The CDC says more than 25 million doses have been distributed across America, but only about 9 million people have received their first dose, which has states increasingly dumping CDC recommendations on vaccine allocation and taking their own approach.
We need mass vaccination events. I actually think what we should be doing now is getting rid of the priority system.
President-elect Biden, receiving his second vaccination Tuesday, is aiming to have 50 million people vaccinated in his first 100 days in office.
It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but we can get it done.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
In Mississippi, the State Department of Health reports 1,227 new cases and 19 new COVID-related deaths today. Now, 2 from the Pine Belt and Forest and Jones counties. Now, to date, more than 240,000 Mississippians have tested positive for the virus, and 5,186 have died. Now, the 7-day average of new cases in our state is currently 2,376. And because those numbers continue to rise, the city of Bay Springs has extended its citywide mask mandate. The mayor and board of aldermen put the mandate into place in December, and it was set to expire in the new year, but they have decided to keep masks in place to protect their citizens, and there is not a set expiration date for this mandate. Now, when the coronavirus spread across the country, college students were forced to take classes online from their dorm rooms or homes. Many are still learning online. Washington News Bureau reporter Jillian Angeline speaks with DePaul University students about the adjustment.
Haley Cange is a senior at DePaul University studying global health. Unlike her first 3 years, her college experience now looks a little different.
Now more than ever, I've lacked motivation.
Every day last semester, she sat in front of her laptop for hours, interacting with her professors and peers over Zoom.
For me, I didn't feel like myself as a student most of the time.
During the fall semester, DePaul University juniors and seniors took courses online, while the underclassmen returned to campus.
Colleges across the country are offering online classes as a way of keeping students safe during the pandemic. Kevin Kruger, president of the Student Affairs Association, says while online learning is not a new concept, experiencing it now raises psychological concerns.
The pandemic has amplified and increased those mental health issues.
A recent study conducted by the association found that 1 in 5 students report they are constantly anxious about the pandemic. They are also spending less time sleeping and exercising compared to the spring. Carolyn Berger from the University of Minnesota says online learning may be socially draining to some because they are no longer able to interact in person with their classmates.
They're not just whining. It really, truly is extremely isolating for them.
Berger says students can help themselves by establishing a daily routine. Something as simple as setting an alarm and getting up at the same time each day can help combat the psychological effects of remote learning. With 2 COVID vaccines already rolled out and others in the pipeline, universities are hoping campuses can return to some type of normalcy soon. In Washington, I'm Jillian Angeline.
On the vaccine front, 2 different vaccines are being distributed across the country and here in Mississippi. Teachers are among those expecting to get their first dose soon. Superintendents in Petal and Forest County are currently working on plans to provide easy access to the vaccine for their teachers, but it is not going to be required.
We're excited to have the opportunity for our teachers to have access to the vaccine. I'm working right now behind the scenes in a way to bring access to the vaccine into our district, a way that can be very accessible to our staff.
Right now we're working on a plan to make sure it's accessible to all our employees. We actually already had conversations with Simrai to develop a plan to try to roll it out as soon as they have the vaccine available.
The Department of Health says the next phase of vaccinations, including teachers, is scheduled to take place at the end of January or in February. And coming up after the break, Mississippi officially has a new state flag flying over the Capitol. We'll have the breakdown of the historic day when we come back. Stay with us.
Closed captioning for WDAM 7 News, sponsored by Vital Care Home Infusion Services.
Out of the darkness rises a beacon of hope. Backed by popular demand, it's the Hangover Crystal. Bacon, cheese, and a fresh cracked egg stacked high on a hot and steamy crystal. Holy moly, that looks good.
So what's happening in Midtown Hattiesburg is powerful. It's being revitalized and brought back. It's probably the strongest part of this town. The Midtowner is our 6th restaurant, and the thing that makes Hattiesburg the place for me is the people. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about with Mississippi Power. They really feel like a partner in my business along the way. Mississippi Power brings keeping the lights on to a whole new level.
The Pine Belt family just got bigger.
The party is over, but there's still reason to rejoice. The Hangover Crystal has returned. Bacon, cheese, and a fresh cracked egg on a steamy, dreamy crystal. Goodbye, Hangover. Hello, Hangover Crystal. For a limited time.
Now, with the president being banned on several social media platforms, the ACLU has come out questioning whether a social media company should have the power to silence the leader of the free world. And tonight we look at efforts to reform what's posted and who's liable on social media from a Mississippian in the U.S. Senate, and whether that would only make the problem worse. CJ LeMaster tells us more.
I have about 80,000 Twitter followers, and over the space of a couple of days, I lost several thousand of those.
Douglas Carswell says there's a definite bias among social media companies where conservative viewpoints are concerned, one that's only gotten more intense since last week's riot at the U.S. Capitol. Experts say some of the planning for that deadly incident came through posts on Parler, seen as a haven for conservatives to come and share their views without fear of those views being removed. But some crossed the line, according to law professor Matt Steffi, like this one, calling for Vice President Mike Pence to be executed via firing squad, and this one, declaring all journalists are soft targets.
It would sound like hyperbole if it weren't for the fact that last Wednesday, an armed mob was in the Capitol asking, "Where's Pence?" with at least some discussion of taking plans to hold people hostage and hold them for, kangaroo court trials.
But the alternative, Carswell says, can't be restricting other conservative voices either.
When you see people encouraging violence, it doesn't matter whether the people responsible for that violence are on the left or the right. If that's not acceptable, it's not acceptable to anyone. You can't apply two different sets of standards.
U.S. Senator Roger Wicker wants to change how these companies police their comments by requiring them to judge them with objective principles, and if they don't, Twitter, Facebook, they could be liable for that speech. But Steffi says that equates to government censorship.
However bad we think it is for Google, Facebook, and Twitter to make these decisions, I doubt people sleep well thinking, well, it'd be great if Congress and the government made them.
And other news for you tonight, the new state flag flying over our capital. Governor Reeves signed House Bill 1 ratifying the newly adopted flag in a ceremony at the two museums. Now, the new flags were then brought to the Capitol by the governor and members of the Flag Commission. The largest flag went up first. And here is part of what Speaker Philip Gunn said in his remarks before that moment.
When you ask me what caused all these legislators to change their votes from no to yes, I will tell you it was their families. It was knowing that history was going to record what they did, and they did not want their spouses or their children or their grandchildren to be disappointed in them. They wanted their children and grandchildren to be proud of them, the future generations of this state to be proud of what they did.
And the lieutenant governor noted that more than 900,000 Mississippians voted for the In God We Trust flag back in November, and he said it will inspire children and generations to come and give us a sense of place. Now let's turn things back over to Nick for more on your weather.
Yeah. In the 40s and 50s over the next couple of days. A full look at this forecast that was coming up after the break.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
As we start a new year, we're right there with you to kick it off right.
Let's go 2021.
Stay healthy.
We're going to show you all the ways to keep calm and de-stress.
And stay connected every morning on Today.
Zoe is back, and she's a pure joy. Certified fresh and like nothing else on TV.
Oh! I was never here.
Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, new Tuesday on NBC.
Winter's here, and McElhaney Plumbing is ready to help. We have a large selection of heaters, natural gas, and electric. We also sell nearly any type of pipe insulation and connectors, heater accessories, and much more. Here at McElhaney Plumbing, you can buy new or exchange your propane bottles. From small to large, we have just about everything you need for any plumbing project under the sun or under the sink. With over 90 years combined experience, we have answers for all your plumbing questions.
When you need help with your plumbing, make us your first stop, not your last.
For many years, Corner Market has strived to create locally owned and operated stores for families all over the Pine Belt. Even as we expand, that mission remains the same. We take pride in what we offer because it truly is the best. Like certified Angus beef, the highest quality and freshest beef you can serve your family. 100% natural chicken from our local poultry producer, and fresh Gulf seafood. We look forward to seeing you at the Midtown Corner Market.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll, whether for yourself or someone you love. Call the number on the screen now. Call now.
WDAM 7 First Alert Weather, sponsored by Strickland's Furniture.
Oh, it's a chilly one out there. 37 degrees in Hattiesburg, 36 in Laurel. You folks in Bay Springs still sit at 35 degrees. Truly, the temperatures haven't changed that much over the last couple of hours. A degree here, 2 or 3 degrees there. But we didn't really start out all that warm, so it's even that much cooler. The reason temperatures haven't changed, we're still just decked over with cloud cover. And because of that, the clouds are absorbing all that long wave radiation, all that heat from today. And you're probably asking, what heat? Yeah, well, they're absorbing all of the not that much heat, which is why we're still cold. But we're not going to get too terribly cold overnight. We'll bottom out somewhere around about 32 degrees. We'll call it 30 by 7 a.m. according to the latest numbers. Up aloft, we're still sitting at freezing too, so we got a little bit of an inversion set up. That's why it's going to be hard to burn off the cloud cover until we get a little bit later into the day when we're able to flip the inversion over. We'll get warmer down here at the ground than we are up there. We get some vertical mixing going, and then we can clear out of the riffraff. But until that happens, we're going to stay good and clouded over. Just as soon as we clear things out, hey, we got more clouds moving in as we head through the overnight hours and toward Wednesday morning. And then a little bit of precip shows back up, and I know you're probably seeing this blue going, wait a second, snow wasn't in the forecast for Wednesday morning 3 hours ago? Yeah, you're right, it wasn't, and it's still not. I tend to think we'll be dealing with drizzle because, yes, we will be near or at freezing at the surface and much cooler aloft, but in between these two numbers, the data is coming back showing very dry and a fair bit warmer than freezing, somewhere around 37 or 38 degrees, up around about 4,000 feet, give or take. Because we're going to be so dry and warm, when the snow or the rain or the sleet or whatever falls through that, it'll either sublimate, evaporate, well, they're going to do either two of those, or they'll make it all the way down to the surface as liquid. And we may, I'm going to be honest here, we may have to keep tabs on the temperature at that point, because then we may have to worry about freezing rain. That's when the rain is liquid, it falls, it hits something frozen and freezes. That may be a concern, but with how light the precip will be, we're less concerned about any kind of travel troubles at this point. It is something we'll have to watch as we head through the next 24 hours for sure. It's just a little system. There's really not much to this thing. It passes by as we head through the rest of the day on Wednesday. Then like a real cold front shows up as we head through Thursday. This one, though, is not an Arctic cold front. It's more of a Pacific one. So it'll cool us down, sure. We'll only be in the mid-50s, but it's nothing crazy coming out of Canada. 55 on Saturday. Sunday will be at 59 degrees. And that's before the next system decides to roll our direction. Kind of like this last one. It's going to be kind of down off to the south and push on through. The warm front will lift to the north, keep us all liquid. But it is something we'll also have to keep tabs on through the next few days. Is where that warm front goes is really going to dictate what our weather eventually looks like around here, be it liquid or frozen. So a lot going on in the weather world. All the while, the weather's going to be kind of boring through the next few days. Kind of gray tomorrow and cold. More gray and more cold on Wednesday with that 10% chance for a little bit of drizzle in the morning. And again, I tend to think that it is going to be liquid. Then we're drier Thursday, 20% chance for a couple of showers Friday as that next little system rolls through. No tornadoes, no severe weather, no crazy blizzards or anything. We're nice as we head through the weekend, and then it looks like we get into another opportunity for a couple of showers as we head into next week.
All right, thank you, Nick. In consumer news, data from Edmunds shows Americans are out spending more money than ever on new cars, with prices soaring even in the middle of a pandemic. And today's Consumer Watch, Mandy Gaither has a closer look at what's driving up the prices.
New year, new car. If you're in the market for a new ride this year, you may pay more than ever, depending on what make and model you choose. The average price of a new vehicle is at a record high, surpassing $40,000 in 2020. Car research site Edmunds says prices are creeping up because Americans are making the switch from passenger cars to more expensive SUVs and pickup trucks. The trend is expected to continue. Edmunds says the average consumer borrowed more than $35,000 in the fourth quarter of 2020, and down payments on new cars, trucks, and SUVs topped $4,700, an all-time high. Edmunds says that's up more than 9% from 2019. Monthly car payments also rose to nearly $600. That's up nearly 2% over 2019. An analyst with Edmunds says the data shows people shopping for new cars right now are shielded from the economic shutdown caused by the pandemic. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now let's check in with Lexi for the latest in sports.
All right, Gary, well, the Saints are moving on after taking down the Bears. We'll catch up with the team after the break.
Are you sick of waking up tired? It could be your mattress's fault. If you've been wanting a new set of bedding and waiting for the perfect time, the wait is over.
Just choose the size you need, all specially priced. The queen set is only $3.99. Then choose from the firm or plush Euro top.
Bring your trucks and trailers. Choose the size and firmness. Enjoy the savings and sleep good. That's only at Strickland's, your hometown furniture store since 1962.
My dad was a farmer. My granddaddy, too. I was always pretty proud of that. When my truck was hit by a company vehicle, I thought I was going to have to sell the farm. Thanks to Richard Schwartz, I didn't have to.
I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
The best innovations come from families. And our family isn't any different. We provide state-of-the-art fiber technology with local experts in local offices. That means competitive prices for high-speed internet in places never before possible. All from a family-owned business you've trusted for centuries. TEC. Your neighborhood's our fast fiber internet.
No, we're not that kind of body shop. At Roy Rogers Body Shop, we're the experts on deer hit repair. People say men never follow directions. At Roy Rogers Body Shop, we actually follow directions. The manufacturer of your vehicle has detailed directions that must be followed exactly to properly repair your vehicle. We read them all, we follow them all. We don't do it the easy way, we do it the right way. Every time on every vehicle we repair. Roy Rogers Body Shop, we're here for you. And if you're still texting and driving, put our number in your speed dial because you will need it.
Speed, strength, endurance. That's D1 training. And now you can get in on all the action for only half the price. Come experience 2 weeks of action-packed workouts in a state-of-the-art athletic training facility by purchasing a $98 workout voucher for only $49. That's half off. Get a top-notch athletic workout with experienced trainers by logging on to PineBeltMarketplace.com today. That's 2 weeks of training for only $49 at D1 Training in Hattiesburg.
It was a Monday morning on our way to his first day of preschool. We were both nervous and excited. Then someone ran a stop sign. I called Richard Schwartz and he got us the money we deserved.
I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
Get ready, Pine Belt. It's time for WDAM 7 Sports.
Well, it had been a while since the Saints had all hands on deck, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But on Sunday, Drew Brees had plenty of weapons at his disposal, including his favorite target, Michael Thomas, who was back after being on injured reserve the last 3 weeks. Thomas wasn't exactly spectacular in his return, just 5 catches for 73 yards and the game's first touchdown. However, his mere presence is always welcome, and Brees is hoping his return to form is followed by others.
It was great. It was great to get him in the end zone, too. Hopefully we broke the seal, and there's a lot more that came from. But, listen, we got some work to do, I think still just kind of first time, really that we're getting everybody together again. Hopefully we get Traquan Smith back this week as well. And, there's just so much timing and rhythm that goes into the passing game and so many little nuances and things that, when you're playing a lot, it becomes automatic. And that's when, you're really playing at the level that, man, we've been at, in many cases around here. But listen, this is playoff football. Each game becomes obviously more meaningful, and you've got to continue to fine tune and find ways to play your absolute best football. And listen, we need to improve. We still need to improve. There's still room for that. And so that's what this week's going to be focused on is continuing to find those extra little percentage points.
And here's a look at the divisional round. Saturday's lineup. The Rams will visit the Packers. Kickoff set for 3:35, followed up with the Ravens at the Bills. Kickoff set for 7:15. Then on Sunday, Browns taking on the Chiefs at 2:05, followed up with the Bucks at Saints. Brady versus Brees, round 3, set for 5:40. And the college football champion will be crowned here shortly in Miami. Alabama up 52-24 over Ohio State late in the fourth quarter. There's that score. And instead of tipping off in Dallas tonight, the Pelicans practiced and then moved on to Los Angeles for their next game. Dallas was supposed to be their first of 7 straight road games, but the NBA stepped in and postponed it because the Mavericks couldn't field the NBA minimum of 8 players. The Mavs are dealing with COVID-19 contact tracing issues, and tonight's game was the 4th that's been postponed by the league this season. Head coach Dan Van Gundy said no game meant a day to get better at practice.
It was surprisingly good practice. My expectations were that when you have a game canceled and now you're going to try to practice, that it was going to be a little bit like pulling teeth, which was probably an unfair expectation of our guys anyway, because I haven't had any reason to question their work ethic all year, and so I probably shouldn't have questioned it today.
That's all for sports. We're back after this.
Don't miss Jeopardy! Weekdays at 4:30.
Jerry's Automotive Repair in Hattiesburg has served the Pine Belt since 1976. Our staff has over 151 combined years of vehicle repair experience. Be it car, truck, foreign, domestic, or fleet, we are committed to performing all of your repair needs to OEM standards. Jerry's Automotive Repair, Highway 42 Bypass in Hattiesburg. Customer shuttle service available.
At Rainforest Car Wash, we give you the top-notch oil change experience. When you come in, you're handed an iPad connected to cameras around and under your vehicle to watch everything. You also get free Wi-Fi, a free drink, and a free car wash. Get a Castrol GTX oil change with all the extras mentioned, and you're good to go. It usually takes less than 5 minutes, and you'll actually enjoy the experience. Visit 2 of our Rainforest Car Washes in Hattiesburg for a great top-notch oil change experience. And come experience our newest location in Magee.
Play more golf and save now with the Robert Trent Jones Trail Card. Buy your 2021 Trail Card today for just $39.95 and save on every round you play. Plus, you'll earn loyalty points you can redeem for rounds of golf. Enjoy world-class golf that's not a world away with the 2021 Robert Trent Jones Trail Card. Only $39.95. Available now at the nearest trail site or at rtjgolf.com/trailcard.
Some people think our law firm only takes on the biggest cases with the most serious injuries. The truth is, many of our cases involve car crashes, slip and falls, and work injuries. But here's the thing. What makes us different is that we don't actually believe those cases are small. Even a low-speed crash or a slip and fall can cause serious injuries that last a lifetime. And that's a really big deal. If you've been injured, dial Pound Law. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
I'll tell you what I know. Your mother's story from the beginning.
What I really want to know is, why didn't she try to find me? Why didn't she? What stopped her?
I had a child. I don't know where he is. Where's my baby? My boy?
This Is Us, Tuesday on NBC.
Welcome back to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Savannah, here comes the newest addition.
It's a young Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson circa 1990.
This balloon celebrates NBC's new comedy, Young Rock, which follows the wild times of Dwayne as a kid, a teen, and a college footballer.
Hoda, I can't wait to see what kind of trouble little DJ got into.
Hard to imagine this guy was ever little.
The fanny pack alone is filled with 50,000 cubic feet of helium.
Incredible.